Hey guys, Hannah here, the Life Purpose Queen, awakening you to your dreams. We've just come out of the powerful full moon, like the full moon. Like, I was like thinking like full, like, you know, like the Joker, the fool, but like full, like literally full moon, like F-U-L-L. Whatever the reason that came through, right? It's like interesting, the Joker energy. And we just literally come out in regards to working with the masculine and healing the masculine, right? So that's been really strong, and I like felt called to come on and talk about this because like in the full moon ceremony, obviously everything that came through was about healing the masculine, and then what we spoke about afterwards, I'm like, man, this is because we're in Solar Plexus week as well, and all about taking our power back, and literally like what is reflected to us in the physical, like in the sense, is like a deep rooted core understanding of our own worth and value, right? And I just felt so called to come on and talk about this. Hey Marina, I forgot to grab my phone, and I'm just going to pull some cards as well for the collective about this, but in regards to, hey Erin, so this is out of the Druid deck. The Druid energy was really strong, and I just felt called to talk about this for a moment here. So how are we all feeling on this? It is full moon. It's full moon in about 12 hours from now. 12, 13 hours. Let me share this. Okay. If it's gonna let me. What's up, miss? Oh, it was pretty powerful coming out of that space again. It's always, the full moon is always powerful space. Look, just, yeah. All right, let's have a look here. Yes, it's letting me share it. How are we all feeling on the Solar Plexus week? Have we had a lot of stuff come up, or we're still like feeling into that? I'm curious how you guys are feeling. Are you feeling empowered? Like, how is, like yesterday I'm like, oh, I'm feeling like this. Hey Wendy. And then I did that energy update and everyone's like, oh my God, like, because I was feeling really, really weird. And I was like, I did think, I was like, you know, especially yesterday morning, like, you know, when I said on live stream yesterday that like I woke up like crying pretty much, and I was just like, oh well, this time tomorrow I'll be holding the full moon ceremony. So I knew that there was like a new full moon going on, but also we've just stepped out of the Lionsgate energy. But I feel like, and that's what I wrote in the message yesterday, in the energy update yesterday, is that it feels like such a, like, it just feels like literally like we're in crossroads. I don't know how to describe it any other way, that like we're in crossroads, like literally like we've come from two different directions in crossroads in the galaxy, galactic, whatever's going on up there. And it's literally like we're in this space here of like the crossroads, and it's literally, that's why everyone's just kind of like, what? And we're like, are we going this way? Are we going this way? It's just like this space, right? So feeling like something is a bit different today, like the atmosphere has changed. You can't quite put your finger on it. Yes, exactly right. It feels like it's a weird space, right? It's a really kind of weird space. I retreated to my cave today, had a cry, I feel okay now. Yeah, how healing is crying, right? Emma says she feels gutted. There's gutted dropping into the sacral chakra. I literally feel gutted, right? So it sounds like some big stuff is going on there. I'm just gonna, this is pretty sure from memory, this is the Matter card. Matter is one of the herbs here, the Druid law herbs, and I'm just going to have a look. This is from memory about initiation and marking a passage, a rite of passage. So let me just have a look. I love these cards, but I'm still getting to know them. So I'm just going to see what comes through, because I want to talk about, and this makes sense, yeah, strength, coming of age, the goddess, right? And marking initiation passages. Because the thing that I want to talk about, like with the Solar Plexus, like I was tapping into yesterday, it's about power and control. It's about the reflection that we're seeing. Horrible day, rousing conflict. Do you know what I was seeing? hearing, like I was hearing my neighbors having an argument this morning, and I'm like, man, I have to hold the full moon ceremony. Like I was like, damn, this was just like, woof, like shift and clear the energy through my entire suburb, which by the way, guys, is a way we can take our power back. And I was speaking about this with a client yesterday. So if you do not do this, it is really, really important. Number one, if you don't have my internal compass chakra clearing meditation, please send me a message, or you can find it on my website, realityawareness.com, and then scroll down to the audio meditations page. In the audio meditations page, you can find the free essentials meditation pack. There's 6 free meditations in there, and in there is the internal compass chakra clearing. Now, the reason I'm bringing that up is because that internal compass chakra clearing is really, really powerful. Yes, for clearing your energy, strengthening your energy, all the things I always say. However, that is your basis for creating energetic force field shields around you, not to protect and like block out energy, but it literally creates an entire different reality energy field within your system. Now, I was talking about this yesterday with a client, like I said, around being able to, shift the energy of your neighbors and your neighborhoods, because I think that people forget how much we feel, right? Everybody knows they're an empath and they're sensitive and they feel this person's energy and this person's energy. And it's like, do you realize how much energy you feel of your immediate neighbors and the people you live next to and around, right? Whether you're in an apartment building or you're on property or you just live in a suburb, you feel the energy of your neighbors. And so be mindful of who's around you, right? Now, how do we stop the energy? It's about being conscious of it and transforming it, okay? Now, how we do that, and a really powerful way of doing that, is when we activate our internal compass, yeah? So the north, south, east, west, the above and the below, and it comes into our system and our body, and then we activate that out through the octagon shape that it creates, right? Now, with that octagon and with your internal compass, your house and your property also has its own internal compass and its own octagon shape. Now, if you are not every day consistently activating that octagon of light around your house and having that internal compass point in the center of your house somewhere, and how do you do this? Well, you imagine it, okay? You either see it, you imagine it, you just know, you get a feeling about it, okay? And it's really important. This is how we take our power back, right? It's kind of like people want to stay in victim mode and I'm so sensitive to energy. It's like, yeah, what are you doing about it? What responsibility actions are you taking about it, right? So number one, we can do this. Now, some people might be like, oh yeah, and then we forget about it. Put signs up around your house to remind yourself to do it. Those force field shields apparently, who really knows, apparently last for around 12 hours. Again, who really knows? I don't know, but apparently that's what it is. So every morning and night, activating your home's internal compass, and then expanding that. So it's like the north, south, east, west, and it creates the octagon shape. That force field shield, you could make that go to the edges of your boundary line fence. You can make it go through your entire suburb, which is what I usually do. So when you feel like you activate that within your house, your home, and then it automatically creates the octagon, and whether it's around your home and your property. And then what I do is, because that energy is just expanding and it's clean and it's moving, I extend that above and below, it just gets bigger and bigger and goes through the entire suburb. It goes above and below, and it goes through every single person's home as well, okay? So when you're around environments that there's an argument, or you're hearing it, like I did this morning, I was just like, woof, right? It's kind of put that back in the space to reclaim your power. Now, when I talk about this with people about the invisibility cloak, and what I mean by that is literally people who, it's we live in a different dimension, right? But we're right here in this reality. It's a bit like my neighbor, I've lived here for 7 years, and then, my neighbor, I'd always see them kind of all the time, and then probably about, I don't know, a month or two ago, and he's like, have you even been here? I haven't seen him for a year, and I'm like, yeah, I've been here, more than ever sort of thing. And he's like, I haven't seen you, and I'm like, in myself, I'm like, oh, that's the invisibility cloak, right? So take your power back and really start using that visualization. You can imagine what color of force field shield it is. And when I say force field shield, I just mean the energy lines, connecting the north, south, east, west, literally creating that octagon shape, the pyramids, the 2 pyramids on each other creates a diamond. And it's like, can you guys hear it? You know, when you hear that hum, it's like like you can hear the hum of the light, right? So how do you take your power back? Exactly what I'm talking about, right? Did you watch, Joy? Did you watch my live stream yesterday? Please watch my live stream yesterday if you did not already, because that is like deep in the solar plexus. I was going to say deep in the subconscious, which is what we dropped into actually in the ceremony. That's probably why I'm talking about, that's why that just came through. Yeah, please watch that live stream from yesterday. That's the welcome to the solar plexus week, because that was a big way of taking your power back, but about what I just said then too, like things like that we can do. But yesterday's live stream will really explain how you can really do that on a deeper level as well. So, okay, let me just see here. So Wendy says, yeah, weird, very confused as to what's going on. Yeah, had a cry, but also felt very moved from past situations. Yeah, so and it's interesting, like past situations, a lot of deep subconscious stuff is coming up and out. And the reason I felt called to do a live stream now is because literally, like I said, it just come out of the full moon ceremony, which is about healing the masculine. Now, in that space, what really came out, like when we were discussing and debriefing afterwards, is that it literally was like the realization that came through and the healing that came through is what I'm feeling called to share here, is that when we look at the masculine in our life, and you know, is a deep reflection on power and control. Why? Because masculine energy is a very powerful, like feminine and masculine, they're both powerful, like anything's powerful if we say it is, right? But it's a very holding space. Like I always say, the masculine is like the walls of the house. It's structural, it holds space, it creates a space, and the feminine moves around in it. Yeah, feminine is moving and flowing, whereas the masculine holds a structural space. Now with that, the power, like what it dropped into in the ceremony and the realization about it is that we have, as a woman, and even if you're a man and you've experienced a relationship with a man, whether it's your dad or, you know, it doesn't have to be an intimate relationship, it's, you know, like what your masculine is represented to you is our first port of call on this earth, which is our mum and dad, right? Or the masculine and feminine. And so what that masculine has represented to us, how we've felt about the masculine in our entire life, is a direct reflection about how we feel about our own worth and value. So if you had a father that wasn't around, then your like internal worth is that, you know, like kind of just like you're not worthy of space, even like not worthy of space on the planet in a way. Like, do you know what I mean? It's kind of like we're not around, so it's like I'm not here, right? So it's really, maybe come here. It's really coming into that space around like looking at what that representation of that power is in your life. Because when we really come into claiming our own power, how safe do we feel with that power, which is represented by the masculine in our life? So if we were like dominated or taken over by the masculine, that power is like we kind of like shut down, because it's like this sense of like, well, it's not safe to be powerful, right? And I was tapping into this yesterday as well. But the past situations, I feel like is deeply coming up like from within the subconscious, yeah? Like it's big clearing going on. Yes, because the feeling is weird. Yeah, and this is like the shifting into realities. You know, I was getting this message strongly yesterday, you know, in that blog post, like, you know, it's like we're shifting realities, like we're shifting literally at like a crossroads. I don't know if we're like literally at a crossroads, but it feels like that energy space of like what's in the center here. It's like, well, it could go any which way, right? It's kind of like this weird space, and I feel like it's a shifting from one dimension, one level of consciousness into another, yeah? So it does feel loud. Whoops. Okay, hang on. So my local rodeo show mentioned everyone being foul moods that they'd come into contact with so bad that they mentioned on live broadcasts and played happy songs for 15 minutes to lift the negativity off the day. Literally in that full moon ceremony, we did like this earth healing that like just poured rose quartz like through every being, through every like piece of technology, through every like thing. Like literally it was just like the rose quartz like like infiltrated from the inside out and just like went to the edge of the Earth's atmosphere, like change it. It was just like, right, enough, enough of this, right? And rose quartz just poured through the whole thing. It was so interesting that you just said that. I'm so curious when that would have been, Jeanette, like when you heard them talking about that. Like I'm so curious when you heard them doing that, like how long ago was that? Was it yesterday? Was it today? So Marina says, exactly what I'm trying to do today from your past advice and direction. Thank you so much for that. It really works. Yes, yes, yes. Awesome. Yeah, those meditations are powerful. The work works when you work it, right? I always say that. Okay. Oh, Mimi. Yeah, that's her nicknames. My cat's names are Dawn and Nignite. Oh my goodness. I was just reading the next comment on narcissism. See your comment there, Samoy. Dawn and Midnight, but Mimi are their nicknames for some reason. I think because when they're kittens, they'll be like, meow, and say Mimi. But I think they think their name's Mimi now. Yeah, I wonder, I know someone else whose black cat's name is Mimi as well, so I don't know what's with the Mimis, but narcissism, so fucking triggered. Yes, okay, so when we're looking at, you know, like that, like it's like every time we get triggered, it's like triggering off a wound, yeah, and I know you know this, and it's like looking in at like what boundaries, where do I need to put in, like what is the boundary line here? I'm getting that really strongly for you some more, like where's the boundary line? It's really strong. So Joy says, my dad came over the other day in a foul mood and we had a huge blowout. Yes, lots of that increasing about 6 to 7 hours ago. Yeah, and it's so interesting, like this whole thing around, around the negativity and like increasing on the planet and stuff. Like, and I'm just wondering, like, because I was even feeling that yesterday. It was a few hours ago. Okay, yeah. So it would have been, what are we now? When did I hold it? Yeah, so it would have been about an hour ago or something, because we just did the ceremony about an hour and a half ago. So like it just feels like everyone's becoming conscious of it, and everyone's becoming conscious of like how like bad it is in a way, and it's like, let's do something about it, take our power back and do something about it, right? Whether we're, you know, praying, meditating, putting good energy into the planet, because when we actually talk about taking our power back and we talk about taking responsibility, like I said yesterday in divine step number 8 and the 12 divine steps to awakening your life purpose, is responsibility. Like we must take responsibility. If you haven't watched that live stream, it's in my reality awareness support group. Divine step number 8 is the responsibility that we bring to the table. Yeah, like so when we're triggered, we're also bringing an energy to that space. Like whatever energy we show up with is our divine responsibility about what we're bringing to the table, right? So when we look at like that energy of, you know, like bringing, like what are we giving back to the earth? What energy are we bringing in? It's our divine responsibility to shift out the darkness and the triggers and move through that. And that's an aspect of consciousness, and we're shifting through that space. But it feels like on a collective level, people are just seeing it even more. And I'm so curious, like, I keep getting the message, and I was getting it with clients. I was getting it, you know, even, I don't know, like that first week of September, like, I don't know what's coming up, like astrologically, I don't know, like, but intuitively, I can feel like the first week of September is like, you know, I'm hearing the 3rd and 4th of September, but I don't know what a date. So I don't like the kind of predicting dates or whatever. I mean, I don't even like doing predictions full stop, but, you know, the first week of September. And the other thing is around, and it's so interesting, the star beings came through today as well, in the full moon ceremony, that, have you guys heard of this stuff around Area 51? Like, oh my God, you know, and like, even like everyone's heard of Area 51, it's the government military, and what are they hiding out there? But like through social media, like almost every YouTuber, like even the celebrities have been talking about it, like everyone's gonna raid like Area 51 on like, what is it, September 19th or something. I'm like, that's like my birthday, or the 20th or something, it was around my birthday. And it was so interesting because I'm like, I mean, if people turn up, and I think people like are aware of this, it's like it's a military base, like they are trained to kill, like they are trained to protect and kill that space. Like it is kind of not a joke, right? But I'm like amazed and so curious and just in awe because Paris Hilton is going. Yeah, apparently they're all going. Like, regardless of whether people actually go or not. Like there's already been YouTubers that, you know, have been turning up and filming about it and stuff like that. And anyway, placing Minecraft beds and respawning beds and stuff like, anyway, it's pretty funny. So, the point is it's so interesting that regardless of whether people show up or not, there's like how many million people, or there's like 1 million people that have like RSVP'd or something, say they're going to this event. Now, again, regardless of whether they're going, how much energy is being poured on this space right now? Like, and all it takes is an awareness to bring things to light. Now, that energy is going to be starting to shift stuff regardless. And even when people start bringing awareness to star beings, to extraterrestrials, to other life, to what are people hiding, like, what is it? The truth always surfaces, right? And it's just so interesting that all this energy is being poured onto all these things that are being hidden. All these things are coming to light. And this is why it is feeling really weird as well, energetically on a collective level, because I feel like this space where this crossroads, and we're like in this space of like, whoa, which way is it going to go? And this is why it's like a divine responsibility to take responsibility for what you're shifting out and get support when you need to, like purge, yes, but then rewrite, right? It's so important to rewrite our reality once we have been purging out and changing the past, right? Clearing out, changing. Like, it is a responsibility to change your reality through your thoughts and create what you want in your life too. What's the matter, Mule? So Wendy says, yeah, to me it was a daughter horse show this evening and felt a major shift from people being bitchy into harmony. Yeah. It's interesting, right? So people would like, yeah, it's like people were catching it. People were like becoming conscious of the negativity and going, oh, what are we doing this for? Like, you want to talk about a collective awakening? Like, people like, oh, this is not right anymore, and shifting, yeah? So interesting, because that's like, even when, you know, we're doing the channeling through the full moon ceremony, and that's like, I always get that too, like whenever we're doing whatever earth healing or whatever, it's like, imagine and see like this energy going through people. And like, you know, like for me personally, like I have visuals of people all around the world, whether they're, you know, looking at their phone or technology, or they're brushing their teeth in the mirror, and all of a sudden just like they just feel different, like because that energy is just infiltrated through the systems. So yeah, it's so interesting that you guys have shared that. Samoy says, so when we heal the wounding to shift the trigger and the problem, shine light on it. So can it be removed, or is that the healing it for the younger generation? Or is it that healing it for the younger generation? Yeah, I feel like when we, like whatever work we do on ourselves, we shift for everyone around us. Because once that trauma, that wound, that trigger has been shifted up and out of our system, no longer are we vibrating that. So and it's like, you know, again, it's like, what do we fill that with? Or what does that naturally fill itself with? It returns back to the natural homeostasis, which is love, which is a higher vibration, which is anything but pain. Like, do you know what I mean? And so when we shift that, our vibration changes, and our vibration affects everything around us, yeah? It's like the Dr. Emoto stuff, yeah? Like, you know, our thoughts affect, our feelings affect. We don't even have to say it. Like, our thinking thoughts affect the things around us in our environment. Like, our thoughts. We feel people's thoughts. Yeah. Give me some love hearts if you feel people's thoughts, not even their words or energy. You feel people's thoughts. Okay, so Emma says, I've been seeing things. I've stepped away from going off, trying not to feel happy about it either. Taking back my power means to me recognizing my triggers, either way, good or bad. Yes, 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 good or bad. Yeah, and that's the thing, like we can get happy and be high, and it's kind of like, can we just be neutral with everything? Like, let's not get attached to the highs or the lows. Let's just be neutral. It doesn't mean we have to just be solemn, or, you know, that's just, but just like, just be conscious, just observe and witness all of the emotions on the scale, yeah? Yeah, it's amazing how far it has come. It's a protest in numbers, yes. I've been screaming out of hurt and frustration, giving it power or releasing. Both. It's both. Like, I I wouldn't like deny your feelings. I'm like, oh, I shouldn't give it power. Like, fuck no, that's coming up and out of your system. It's about finding ways and learning how to heal and shift that in healthy ways. So you're interested in intuition. In module 4, there's the healing processes. There's 3 ways you can heal with that. Also, pushing against a door frame in your house gets rid of anger. So like it's important to get it out. Like, I'm really, really passionate about that. Some people say you shouldn't focus on it. I'm like, well, if you don't, you're burying it, right? Because it's an authentic feeling that you're feeling, because as we move and we grow vibrationally and we shift and grow vibrationally, like that's, you know, we're shifting and growing. So what are those wounds, traumas, that heavy stuff is not in alignment with that higher vibration. So it's coming up and out. Yeah, we can't just put a lid on it, right? Because that vibration needs to shift. It's coming to the light to be transformed, to like it's becoming conscious rather than staying in the unconscious. You're on module 4. Of course you are. Of course you are, right? Oh dear, amazing. So Kylie says, what is it they say? Plant a tree to provide shade, not for yourself, but for future generations. Anything we do always affects the other, and we don't know or realize most times. Yes, exactly. So a lot of the work we do, we might not know about it for like generations. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, so it's definitely that. All right, so for some reason I pulled matter, and I'm just going to have a look because it is about, I'm pretty sure, the rites of passage. So this is from the Druid Oracle. So matter is the plant of blood and the goddess. The rich red dye it produces symbolize the vitality of the body and the fertility of the land. If you have chosen this card, it could mean that you have reached a time of major change in your life. Perhaps a particular life stage such as puberty, the menopause, or the andropause. Alternatively, it may simply indicate you have reached a certain point in your development. Either way, this card signifies something meaningful and worthy of recognition. You might want to mark this time consciously with a rite of passage or a pilgrimage to a sacred place where you can tie a kluti to a tree with a wish and prayer. Another interpretation of this card is less specific, suggesting simply that now strength is needed. This may be physical strength, or it could be strength of character to endure or face the difficult circumstances, to resist the easy option, or delay your own satisfaction or reward for the sake of something more important. So, and I just feel like that's strength. And this is where it's interesting when talking about, you know, how everyone's like feeling weird and just kind of like, oh, which way is this situation going to go? Like, it's the real sense that I'm getting. And I feel like for whatever's coming, we need to be strong. And this is, again, taking divine responsibility for your physical body, for your home, like your soul's home, like, you know, cleanses, detoxes, strengthening your physical body, eating healthy, putting good energy and food into your body, as well as your mind and your thoughts. What are you feeding your thoughts? You know, like clean out the crap emotionally, physically, spiritually, like, you know, and get clean, healthy, and strong. It feels like a really strong message in a sense of, you know, like whatever's coming or whatever shifts or like this weird space. It's kind of like, how do you want your life to look in 6 months' time? It's like, look around what you're doing in your current day reality, because these actions are creating the next 6 months. So if you want a different 6 months, you want to be in a different place in 6 months' time, it's like start taking different actions now. Action being masculine, right? And we're learning about what it means to take back our power and feel good again. And to be able to do that, it's about taking different actions in the now that is going to create a different future. Yeah. So looking at the reason that I got on this live stream, so deep in the solar plexus is power and control, but the reflection of how you feel about about your value of your own worth. So whatever you feel about the masculine, whether they're annoying or, and again, doesn't have to be a woman to a male, could be a male to a male, like it's just like whatever you feel, whatever your main concept is around a masculine being, whether you look up to them, whether you don't like them, whether you're scared of them, that's how you feel about your own power and therefore your own value of worth of self. Okay, so when you look at healing self-worth, self-esteem, self-respect, and that's all in the solar plexus, when we look at that, it's about increasing our own value by looking at the reflection of what the masculine means to you and feels to you. Like, how do you feel around the masculine? Are you scared? Do you close down? Are you open? Are you over the top? Like, you know, what is it around that space that is a direct reflection to how you feel about your own worth? So you want to heal your own worth, work with healing the perception and reflection about how you feel around the masculine. Yeah? That is today's message on the solar plexus. On our beautiful full moon, by the way, you can check out what it looked like in the ceremony on my story. I did a little snippet. It was pretty damn powerful, healing the divine masculine. We did the divine feminine last month, and in September's full moon, it is the masculine and feminine coming into balance. So it's going to be one pretty amazing full moon, which will be a couple of days before Area 51 gets stormed, which is quite interesting after what came through today. We're going up to the stars and talking to the beings in our original star home from the original light workers, which is pretty interesting. I'm really curious what's going to come through in September. Hold on to your hats, guys. You are directing your reality right now, so take care of yourself, ground down the reality you want, clear out the crap and rewrite your reality, because you are directing the steering wheel of your life right now. If you want to be in a different place in 6 months, it is time to take a different action today and for every day leading up to that 6 months. You can take your power back by taking a different action. Yeah. If you don't feel safe, and taking a different action, again, is looking at how you feel safe around the masculine. Yeah. That internal space is so, so powerful. So Samoy said, that's exactly what I've been going through this past week. Made strong decisions in what I believe about myself. Yes. And what I won't tolerate anymore. I can feel the shift. Yeah. It's big, right? It isn't tonal, like we're just like, yeah. It's very, very, very defiant, strong feeling. Okay, guys, it is August, and so the Goal Reacher program is open, and this is 3 months deep one-on-one with me. So if you're wanting to rapidly shift into your next 6 months and beyond, and you need support, you need help, there's some big bad stuff going on and you don't know how to shift it, I can walk you through it. I can take you by the hand. Hey, beautiful Lena. And the Goal Reacher program is usually nearly 3,500, but for the month of August, celebrating 3 massive years of Tuesday Tarot 3, it is $9.97, and there's 3 months unlimited access to me via WhatsApp or Voxer. And then you've got distance healings. There's also the phone calls, which you can customize, by the way. So if you want to create your own mini package, there's options available, because I work with my clients in many different ways, and there's customizable packages. So please send me a message if you'd like more details about that, or the link is above as well in the title of this live stream, and you'll see it on my page. Or if you're on my email list, you can email me back, and I shall see you very soon. Remember, yes, let's do the new way. This is taking our power back in a very empowered, valuing yourself, not tolerating things that you once did, and shifting your entire reality because of that. Loving yourself, loving you, loving the universe, and bringing a different energy to the space, to our world, so we can all shift together. Lots of love. Namaste.